I saw today how much people are struggling. I saw that even though there have been extraordinarily noble efforts, starting with faith communities and neighborhood groups and nonprofits that didn't even have to wait for instructions, they just came and started helping, and neighbors who helped each other. This tragedy showed some of what is so good in New Yorkers, and then government came in waves in different ways, and a lot of good happened there too. But what's obvious is that we just scratched the surface of what needs to happen for people in the Rockaways and many other neighborhoods. And I saw with my own eyes today that the stories people told me, this crisis is continuing. Let's be clear. The storm, the actual winds, the flood waters receded months ago, but the crisis is continuing for so many people. And the job of all of us in leadership is to continue to respond until each person is given the help they need. It won't be easy. No one is suggesting this is easy. This is why your work is so important. When handed at such a moment, it's our obligation in a very open way, a very transparent way, to figure out how much good we can do with the resources that we're receiving. And not just in the narrow sense of helping people immediately in need, but how can we change the structure of things? How can we help families to long-term strength and stability? How can we create affordable housing for the long term, for more people in this community? How can we establish the notion that everyone depends on a decent paying job, a living wage job, and make that commonplace as opposed to the exception? These are the things that this moment demands of us. So I want you to know from the beginning, I'm not looking at this as a Band-Aid. I'm looking at this as a new beginning. We didn't ask for it to take this form, but we have to treat it as a new beginning. And we have to treat it as the beginning of a different relationship. We have to treat it as the beginning of a different relationship between City Hall and the people of the Rockaways, and a more just relationship. Thank you. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all the laws and rules and regulations affecting this funding. I'll say that now. I got rid of that. We're going to respect the law by definition. But within the power we do have, and I think it's substantial. I think it's substantial. I think the City of New York is in a strong position to make sure that this money is used to the best way possible for our communities. I want to see the money used for living wage jobs, for people who were affected by this crisis. It's as simple as that. We need to make sure that the folks who benefit, it's not just a matter of benefiting from the end product of what this money may achieve. It's that in the process, the jobs go to the people affected to the maximum extent possible. Because that would be a truer measure of recovery. People could get not just back on their feet physically because their home might be rebuilt, but could get back on their feet economically and be on the way to something better. To the maximum extent possible, I also want to make sure our younger people get an opportunity in this process, because it may be an opportunity they would not get otherwise. We have to see this as precious. It will be difficult. There will be all those rules. But we have to see this as a one-time opportunity to make some things right and use it as preciously as we understand it to be, but especially making sure the beneficiaries are the families affected by the crisis. Again, what was going on in the Rockaways before Sandy was unacceptable on so many levels, so many people struggling, so many people trying to find affordable housing. That was a big news story before Sandy. And the injustice was that Sandy somehow sought out, if you will, neighborhoods that were already struggling and only made things worse. But what I envision for this city, separate from the question of the Sandy aid, first of all, is a very aggressive affordable housing creation program. My plan is for 200,000 units over the next 10 years. And that requires using things that we control before you even talk about federal money, our own pension fund dollars, our own tax code, our own approach to the real estate industry that I think is not being asked to do enough to create affordable housing in this city. So right now I believe the City of New York has powerful tools to build and preserve affordable housing on a much greater level in all neighborhoods. On top of that, we have the Sandy relief money. And so that Sandy relief money needs to be targeted for, amongst other things, the rehabbing and restoration of housing that was lost, but also, again, within the rules, to the maximum extent possible, new affordable housing in areas affected, and again, to the maximum extent possible, built by people affected. To me, the perfect equation, and we're all adults here, we all understand rules and regulations, but the perfect equation is to have people building the housing that they and their neighbors will one day occupy. That's the perfect equation. So folks who are affected by the crisis to the maximum extent possible get the work, and the work creates the affordable housing we need for the long term. And that's what I hope to see done with the Sandy relief money, but also with the larger vision we have for affordable housing.